Okay, so now that we got the case off of the camera, on the front there's a lens cap which you just take off and put on. And I put a protective filter over the lens. So this just stays on there. It's a clear filter, but it protects the lens so that in case you have to wipe it clean, you can do it with a soft cloth. And, well, in general, it's just protective. Then on the rear of the camera, I put on a screen protector, and you know that I love screen protectors. So again, this is just on the back to protect it from damage, and in case you need to wipe the camera, it's very easy to do. So to get started with the camera, what you do is at the very top, there's an on-off switch right here, and you just push it to on. And you notice that the lens popped out when I did that. So that's the starting point for the camera. And what happens is that there it's coming on. So after 30 seconds or so, the camera will go to sleep. And when it goes to sleep, you just simply press the shutter button. That's the silver button on top. You just press that halfway down, and it wakes up again. Okay, so that's how you get the camera on. Now, the camera has a zoom lens, so you zoom the lens by turning this dial on the front. And you can see that it's a motorized zoom lens, so as you turn it, it will zoom, and that's pretty cool because it will, let's see if I can make it happen here. There. So see how it zooms in, and then if I turn it the other way and hold it, it zooms out. So that's a cool feature, and that's one of the things that your phone doesn't have that might help you out. I have performed most of the settings on the camera for you so that you don't have to worry about it, but I want to go over the controls for you so that you know what's happening. The main control is this dial right here, and that's called the mode dial. And it has different modes, which is different kind of presets for how the camera operates. And what I do, so there are presets, you can see there are letters, P, S, A, M, which stands for program, shutter, aperture, and manual. And then there are other presets. This one here looks like a little rectangle. That's panoramic mode. And so you put it in there and the camera will do a panoramic. The one with the moon is for nighttime photography. The next one is supposed to look like a runner, so that would be for sports. The next one, I'm going to flip it around here. The next one here with the triangles is for landscape photography. The next one is for portraits. And actually, I haven't read the manual to find out what SP Advanced and SR Plus are, but, well, we can do that together. I'm pretty sure what Advanced does is it puts you into this advanced filter system that the camera has. Let me see if that's true. Yeah, so it's the advanced filter system. And you can just try these out, So it's different looks that happen inside the camera. And you might like them. There's a fisheye effect, which bends the image. Low key, which darkens the picture. So, you can try these, toy camera. So you can try these various filters and see if you like any of them. But what I usually do is I keep it on A, there we go, A, for aperture mode. So I'm just going to put it back over there and I'll show you why. Aperture mode is an automatic exposure mode where the camera will automatically adjust the exposure so that it's correct. And the reason that it says aperture mode is that it bases the adjustment on the aperture that you've pre-selected for the camera. The aperture is the lens opening in the front of the lens, so it's a diaphragm like this. And the way it works is, the reason it's a priority is that if you have a small opening like this, you get a lot in focus from foreground to background. And if you have a large opening like this, you get very selective focus with a blurred background, kind of like portrait mode in your phone. So, so where you make those choices of aperture is with this dial on the back of the camera. Okay, so when I rotate this dial, it changes the aperture. And if you look at the bottom of the screen right here, you can see that when I rotate this dial, that the number changes. Right now it's on 3.5. And then as I rotate it, it goes down to f22. You know, a lot of times I just leave it on 8. So it's called the F number. So f8 is a reasonable aperture. You could use f11 or 16 if you're outdoors in Utah because it's so bright. And what that does is it controls the amount of light that's coming into the camera. And as I said, a large aperture, one where you get a selective focus, would be like 3.5, and a small aperture where you get everything in focus is like 22. So I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to pre-focus the camera by pressing the shutter halfway down. Okay, and let me see here. Touch. So the camera is focused in the foreground, but when I hold when I take a picture and press the review button, which is up here, it actually shows that everything is in focus. So, you know, why didn't it look that way at the beginning? Well, it will look that way. See, only the foreground's in focus now. If I hold the shutter button halfway down, it previews what it's going to look like at that particular aperture. So if you want to change the aperture, all you have to do is rotate the little wheel where my finger is. And now I'm going to put it on F5 or F5.6. So now when I press the shutter halfway down, the background is out of focus and the foreground stays in focus. So if I take this picture and press the review button, okay, now you can see that, whoa, I have two different pictures. The second one, where the background is out of focus, and it was made at F5. And then the first one, where the background is in focus, made with an aperture of 22. So that's basically the strategy for how to use aperture priority mode with the A, and why you would use aperture priority mode, which is to select your depth of field or select how much focus you have before you take the picture.